Welcome to the NGConnects Podcast, where national gypsum team members and industry leaders share insights and advice to solve construction and design challenges. We obsess over the details to help you build better. Hi, I'm Chris Whitmire with the Marketing Department for National Gypsum Company. And in this episode, I talk with Edwin Escobar about the levels of finish and specifically level 4 versus level 5. Edwin Escobar is the market development representative for Proform Finishing Products, supporting sales in the Southeast and Gulf areas. With over 20 years in the drywall industry, Edwin excels in sharing product knowledge, training contractors and new sales reps, and providing technical support for special projects. He has received numerous awards across his career, including 6 Sales Team of the Year awards and 2 President's Awards. Edwin just celebrated 19 years with Proform and National Gypsum Company. Edwin, welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here. We're going to get into some levels of finish.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. When it comes to drywall finishes, understanding the different levels is crucial for achieving the desired look and durability in any construction project. While there are 5 levels of drywall finish, each building upon the previous one to create smoother and more refined surfaces, this podcast will explore what separates the 2 highest quality finishes, level 4 versus level 5. So Edwin, let's get into these levels of finish, and I think it's probably appropriate to first, let's talk about the GA 214, which talks about the levels of finish for gypsum panel products. I know the GA is looking for, requires certain things within those different levels. Let's just maybe touch on some of those, maybe starting with level 0, and let's go up through level 3. Talk to me a little bit about those different levels.
Okay. Normally, the level 0 is going to be the installer doing the work, installing the drywall. This one requires no compound at all.
No tape, nothing.
No taping, no nothing. So that one is for temporary walls. That's basically what it's specified for. On the level 1, this one is typically specified for areas where they will not be for a public view or anything above drywall ceilings.
So very basic. Now level 1 will have
the basic.
That'll have tape on it, right?
This one starts with taping on, embedded, and then sometimes they do spot the fasteners, and sometimes they don't do it. So on fire codes, definitely all of the penetrations need to be covered with mud. So in that case, sometimes they will spot the fasteners.
Okay, so that's, let's see, 0, 1, and then what separates 1 from 2?
The 1 from 2 is basically a level 2 is specified for barriers where it's going to have either tile or it's specified for garages. And then this is not specified for a finished product. Typically, this is done on areas where it's not going to be of a public view as well. So
it doesn't require a high level finish,
no,
or you're going to have tile put over it?
Not a high level finish on a level 2. So it's just tape and spotting the screws one time or fasteners.
Okay. And then going from 2 to 3.
On a level 3 finish, this one requires a little bit more talent, more of a finishing art to it. And this level typically is going to be taped, bedded, and the fasteners will have 2 coats on it.
Okay.
And then this is typically specified for some housing and apartments that will have heavy to medium textures.
Okay.
So that's the difference between the 2 and the 3.
Now, what about a joint knife? Take level, go 0 through 3. Does the width of the knife change as you go from 0 up to 3?
Yes, definitely. The size of the knife determines the level of finish. For the taping process, they will be using a 5-inch knife, either if they are taping by hand or using automatic tools.
Okay.
And then moving on forward to the number 3, that will be either a number 10, which is the width of the knife,
Yep.
or a box automatic tool.
Okay.
So that's what differentiates the levels. Every time that you're moving up to a level, the knife or the width of the joint gets bigger.
Good explanation. Now, as you get up into 4 and 5, talk to me a little bit about level 4, and then at the end we'll talk about level 5. But so the next one, level 4, the width of the knife, does that go up to 12?
On the level 4, this is one of the most common finishes in the market. This can go into housing, commercial, and then basically what this is we just talk about the 3 levels, right? So it covers all of the 3 levels, and then another skim coat, talking about the size of the knives, right?
Yep.
So this will be done with a 12-inch knife, or with automatic tools, a 12-inch box.
Okay.
So
you
when
can
we
use
are
the box for level 4 too then, right?
definitely
Okay.
the tools is a good it makes the joints more evenly, and instead of finishing by hand, a lot of contractors believe that this is better application when you're using the tools.
Okay.
But that's probably a theme for another day. A level 4 actually implies tape embedded in joint compounds. Every single joint requires 2 coats on anything that has been taped. Fasteners and accessories got to have 3 coats at this point. And then everything that is being taped, just like I mentioned, it needs to have 2 coats.
Okay.
5 joints and flat joints, and all of the accessories, 3 coats. It is important to keep in mind that a level 4 is a good finish product, but it will be challenging when it's recommended to be done on areas where it's going to have paints that have dark tones, or areas that have big windows.
Yeah, critical lighting.
Critical lighting is definitely level 4 is not a good finish level for those areas.
Okay.
Where paint is going to have dark tone colors, and also critical lighting.
Critical lighting. We'll touch on that critical lighting topic in just a second. So going from a level 4 to a level 5, skim coat.
A level 5 is the best finish there
And that's
is.
a skim coat, right? Maybe talk a little bit about what exactly does that mean, the skim coat? What does that mean? What's the benefit of it?
On a level 5, we just went through 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So a level 5 is going to have every single step that has been done throughout a level 4. And then on a level 5, what we are doing, you just mentioned the skim coat, right? We are going to skim coat the whole area where the drywall is being installed.
So the whole surface of that board is getting covered.
Will be covered, and then this application can be done either by hand, which this is when the art begins to show, right?
Yeah.
You have to select the top-notch finishers in order to achieve a level 5. And then it can be done with hand tools. You can spray it on, or it can be rolled on the walls with joint compound.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I have no doubt you can do a level 5 finish on drywall, right?
I have done it a couple of times. I have seen it plenty of times, so
I have no doubt.
I will probably say yes.
It's good. So you mentioned critical lighting. Critical lighting is that going to be a case where you're going to want to use a skim coat, to achieve that level 5 finish, skim coat to help reduce those critical lighting areas, or areas that are prone to critical lighting? I know you'd mentioned dark color paint. We want to stay away from that. Darker hues. What about paint sheens? Flat versus a eggshell or satin or semi-gloss? What's the recommended sheen on paint outside of the dark color?
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the difference between the level 4 and level 5, and why you want to specify a level 5 versus a level 4. You just mentioned paint colors, dark versus lighter colors, and also the sheen of the paint, right? Eggshells and all of the areas that have big windows or natural light coming in. Those are definitely things to consider before specifying a level 4 versus a level 5. A level 4 will give you, just like I mentioned earlier, it's a good finish, but then it's going to have a difference on the texture, especially. Finished surface versus paper. Finished surface is finished, the paper is not. So there is that, and also critical lining, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any project that is going to have critical lining, a level 4 will not do it. It might imply more work, more material, and then obviously, just like we just said earlier, the best finishers are the ones who should be doing a level 5 to prevent any issues, because when you're talking about level 5, we're talking about the best finishing there is in the market.
So what would be a good example of a critical lighting scenario? Large windows, right? A lot of these schools that are being built, they get these long hallways, and at the end of the hallway, there's this massive window, and it's letting all this natural light come in. So it's, as you're looking down the hallway, you can see a lot of times you can see the joints. So that would be a good scenario or space maybe where you would use a level 5 or a skim coat in that critical lighting, in that type of critical lighting situation, right?
Yeah, definitely. The direction of the sunlight coming into the building, it should be another point of consideration. The windows, and then also even the lining, how close is the light to the wall, and then hallways, theaters, showrooms, and
Yeah.
things of that nature. Definitely those are places where a level 5 should be specified.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about some of the key differences between a level 4 and a level 5.
On a level 4, you're not skimming the entire surface. So there is more time, more material, and all of this other stuff that comes with the level 5. So that's one of the differences. And as far as with the application, obviously, they are done with the same tools, from taping, 5-inch, 10, 12, and finish. And also mechanical tools, automatic tools, that can help you with the speed in the process of finishing the levels that you're desiring. So the application on a level 4, we just talk about it, it's tape embedded, 2 coats on every single joint. The fasteners got to have three coats along with all of the accessories, right? That's a level 4. And then a level 5 goes a little further. We're talking about skimming the whole surface, right? So with that being said, you are covering all of the imperfections, the texture, we just talk about finish versus paper, right? So covering the entire surface, we will take care of some of that imperfections. And then obviously cost, right? A level 4, once again, is a good finish. But then it needs to be specified in the right places, right? I will not recommend, just like I mentioned it, having a level 4 when we are having or intending to apply dark colors,
Mm-hmm.
and then big windows, lining, the direction of the light coming into the big walls and things like that. I have been in so many different job sites on where they have specified a level 4, and oh my, when you go into those places and you see the natural light coming in, you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then sometimes communication is a big key, right? If it's not communicated properly, the size of the windows not taken into consideration and things like that.
Edwin, let's talk a little bit about some of the inspection methods. I think we would probably both agree that one of the most important things is communication on the front end. Communication between the owner, the architect, the GC, the drywall sub, as far as what level of finish is intended and what that final result is going to be. I know mock-up walls, that's a great way to help determine what level of finish is going to be utilized for interior walls. I know we see mock-up walls a lot used for exterior application, but I think it's probably equally as important to be used for interior applications as well. Wouldn't you agree?
I definitely do. I agree. Communication is definitely prevention,
Well said.
to prevent all of the other issues that will be coming with a miscommunication. Level 4, when they should specify a level 5, is a big difference. So a level 4, we just talk about how you achieve a level 4. That is tape, every single joint, 2 coats on the tape, joints, butt joints, and then 3 coats on the fasteners, right? So this is a perfect finish for areas where we are not going to have dark colors,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're not going to have big windows, long walls,
Yep. Critical lighting.
critical lining, shining the walls.
Yep.
So that is a big no for specifying a level 4.
You know what else is a big no? Writing letters. I know you've been out in the field for some time. I have as well. And a lot of times we'll get requests from contractors, architects for pro form to write a letter stating that wall is a level 4 or a level 5. And that's, I think it's important to note pro form, we're the manufacturer, right? That needs to be, again, communicated up front, agreed upon up front. The mock-up wall is a good way to get that identified. You've been in those situations. I know you have. I've been in them.
Not fun.
Yeah, not fun. We want to stay away from that. And I think, the communication piece up front and prevention. How about glass mat products? Any recommendation on how to best finish a glass mat gypsum board product?
So many different things have been tried, but in reality, my recommendation will be a level 5 finish
Okay.
because of the texture of the glass mat. So
Got it.
there's no other way around. And then on the level 5 that we were touching on before, the difference between inspecting, right? A level 5 is obvious. You walk in, it's top of the line, right? So obviously you will be more mindful of what you're getting. So when you're inspecting a level 5, you just wanted to make sure everything is covered with a skim coat and there are no imperfections on visualizing the walls,
Mm-hmm.
making sure that there is nothing sticking out or the fasteners are covered properly. And at this point, they should have 4 coats of mud. So the joints, including the skim coat, that's 3 coats.
Got it.
So those are the things that you should be looking out for when you're inspecting a level 5
Okay.
finish.
I know a lot of this is regionally based, but when you start getting into that level 4, level 5, the various products, and I know Proform has several different products: lightweight, midweight. We have all-purpose. What are the recommended products to use? Proform products to use for some of those different levels, especially as you start getting into the 4 and 5.
When we talk about products, it gets a little bit tricky, right? Typically, is not dictated, but it's a regional preference, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in the Southeast. And then in the Southeast, all-purpose is what everybody prefers.
Well, in Texas, I mean, they only use light. That's for everything. It's so going to your point, it's regionally based, right?
Yeah, I guess, choosing the right products is probably a conversation for another day, right? Because it gets tricky.
Fair enough.
But talking about, we were just talking about the tools, right?
Yeah.
Definitely choosing the right tools will help you achieve the levels of finish, right? And also that goes right along with choosing a professional formula. Choosing the right products will make it a lot easier to achieve the levels of finish that you're desiring to get to. So
good stuff, Edwin. I think that's a good place to wrap up today's episode. Edwin, I want to thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedule to join me here today to talk about the levels of finish. Also want to take this opportunity for our audience members. Please feel free to visit proformfinishing.com. We've got a lot of great resources there. The GA214, the 5 levels of finish, a lot of supporting documentation there. Also, we have the 1-800-NATIONAL Construction Services Department. Jim, Sam, and Mark, if you have any questions as it relates to the 5 levels of finish, please feel free to reach out to them. And then also, Edwin is part of our field development representatives that we have out in the field to help contractors through various scenarios. So please feel free to reach out to Proform FDR or your local National Gypsum Field Sales Rep. Edwin, thanks again.
Thanks for having me.
All the resources we've mentioned today will be added to the show notes. All our podcasts can be found on your favorite platform or by visiting nationalgypsum.com/podcasts. If you have any questions or an idea for a topic, email us at podcast@nationalgypsum.com. National Gypsum Company is the exclusive service provider of reliable, high-performance building products manufactured by its affiliate companies and marketed under the Gold Bond, Proform, and Permabase brands. The National Gypsum name has been synonymous with high-quality, innovative products and exceptional customer service since 1925. The information provided in this podcast is for general information purposes only. For specific building or design questions, please consult with the 1-800-NATIONAL Construction Services team or your regional National Gypsum Construction Design Manager. Always use products in accordance to the manufacturer's recommendations.